Hello, so this is my video for Theory, Analysis, and Application, chapters 1 through 3. I chose the social comparison theory from chapter 2. I chose this theory because I felt as though it's natural for us to compare ourselves to others, and both the positives and the negatives, and I thought this would be an interesting theory to talk about because it applies to our everyday lives more or less, and it can be something we internalize rather than, talk about out loud. And this theory, in others' words, is evaluating characteristics and qualities about yourself, whether it be physical, mental, or spiritual, and comparing it to others. And comparing ourselves to others gives us an idea of where we stand in terms of being the same, different, unique, better, worse. And a comparison can help us determine the talents that we have and what we're capable of, and gives us a better judgment of ourselves. And the comparison of yourself to others happens on a day-to-day basis. Even at times when you may not be aware of it, you could be making a mental note about someone else, and then later on down the line, make a comparison to yourself. And in my situation, I make comparisons all the time, but they're just typically small, and it's just something that crosses my mind. And it could be from comparing my academics and goals to my peers or my family, and it could be from also comparing my role in the family's household compared to others. It could be comparing my experiences to that of others through social media or just people I know. And I think that social media is a big one because it's easy access to share all aspects of your life with the world publicly, and you don't necessarily have to know the person to have access to this. And the social comparison theory, in this case, you could be comparing your financial status or your physical appearance to someone online, and we're assessing what their qualities are and how we measure up against them, pretty much. And this is all being done by the voice in your head. And but also we have to think that when it's taking place between two people, yourself and the comparing other. And one personal experience of mine was when I chose to switch college majors. I was pre-nursing for 2 years, and in my prereqs to get into the nursing program, I just wasn't getting the A's that I needed to. I compared my grades and study skills to that of my sorority sisters, for example, at the time, who were also pre-nursing majors, and it really helped me realize that nursing school that I wasn't cut out for nursing school, and that it wasn't something I wanted to pursue. And my sorority sisters were getting A's and studying all night long, all weekend, and I was just getting lower B's and going out at the times that they were studying. And I decided to change my major, realizing I wasn't going to stand really a chance at getting accepted into the program. And I had realized that my ability to study extremely hard and endlessly, and my capability to withstand all the stress of school and studying in that manner was something other students had and that I did not. And thus I learned more about myself this way, and just figured out that the pre-nursing major nursing school wasn't for me. And in terms of usefulness, this theory can definitely have an impact on you. I think that when you're using this theory, that you should be conscious of the comparisons that you are making about yourself to others. For example, it can affect your self-esteem positively or negatively. And also, this theory is dependent on how we perceive comparisons, and it can go either way. You can think that nothing compares to you, like you're the best, or that you can never compare to others and feel the worst, and there's obviously an in-between too. And it's important to feel, that's why I think that it's important to be comfortable yet humble in your own skin before making comparisons to others. And my second concept I chose to focus on was the self-fulfilling prophecy, or Pygmalion effect, from chapter 2. And I chose this concept because it's interesting to think about the expectations you have for yourself, for others. I think that, especially I think for myself, like at my age and just being postgraduate, and just the phase I am in my life, that I'm starting to envision what I really want for my future and what I expect of myself, and the goals that I'm going to set to achieve them, and how to just make it a reality. And it's interesting to think about what you expect from yourself, and what you expect from others. And the self-fulfilling prophecy is a cycle, and the expectations you think of yourself or others is just the first step. And the next step is informing yourself informing yourself or others about these expectations. Then whoever receives the message, whether it be yourself or another, makes changes to their behaviors, and now what we expect is now something that is attainable, and it is successfully real, and now altogether our expectations have been met one way or another. And in my experiences, the Pygmalion effect is mainly self-imposed, but it can also be other-imposed, and I focus on myself the most, I should say, because I have higher expectations for myself than I do for others. I know that I can trust myself to make adjustments to make expectations a reality, and it's communicating with myself and having these conversations with myself that give me a positive outcome. And so I graduated this past summer, and with my bachelor's degree, I ended up landing a kitchen job. And I told myself that that was going to be a temporary job and that I would find a better job. And the first step I did was envision a job that I wouldn't be overqualified for, something that I would qualify for, and that I thought I thought about the jobs that I was eligible for, and told myself that I could do it. And I got myself to start applying for jobs on my off days, and I probably applied to maybe 15 jobs, and I made sure to revise my resume to make myself the best candidate possible for each application I sent out. And after a month later, I landed a full-time job with all the benefits, with a company who also functions as a positive Pygmalion. I have my own office now. I have more of a supervising role. I am a part of the care team when it comes to patients, and my employer, they are also working with me together on starting the self-fulfilling prophecy cycle again. And in this case, it's to become a dietary manager, and that's going to challenge myself. And it's positively motivating me to bloom into growing my career, and specifically at this facility. And the dietary manager step is only the second step. They have been creating a pathway for me of what to do even from there on and how I can grow. And this situation shows both self-imposed and other-imposed. I got myself this job simply because I acted like it was already true. It's other imposed because everything I could want from an employer is happening for me. For example, I want study materials and to take a credentialing exam, and they have with open arms have been wanting me to grow and cover all the exam fees for me and study costs, and they're pushing me for it. And the self-fulfilling prophecy can just be really useful to achieve the things you want to in life, I think. I chose to only focus on the positive and not the negative Pymaglion. And however, it's important to note that expectations can be low, and then thus giving you a low result or low outcome. And but I do agree with this theory for sure. You can either think the worst or best of yourself, of others, and then you can make that a reality based on your judgments.